it was like, holy shit, that is fucking awful. Hi, my name is Lacey, and welcome to my recaps of episodes 1 through 4 of The Ultimatum Season 2, now streaming on Netflix. I also did recaps of Season 1 of The Ultimatum. If you haven't watched those, check them out. Those people were nuts, and I loved it. And I also did a recap of The Ultimatum Queer Love, so check those out. If you like my recaps, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. I'm trying to reach 100 subscribers by the end of the year, and I'm so close, I think I could do it, especially with your help, so thank you. All right, so I already did a video about meeting the cast, the original couples, but we're gonna dive deep into The Ultimatum today. We're gonna start with Kat and Alex. Kat is 27, Alex is 31. They've been together for 2 years. She wants him to be jealous. He says that we've just been too busy, like with activities and travel and exploring and stuff, to get married. Okay? They are not on the same page in terms of marriage or like life values, and so she's a little bit nervous. And in their last night together as a couple, their conversation just seemed awkward to me. I didn't really see any romantic chemistry between the two of them. I almost feel like, I get the feeling that Alex was only with Kat. He only felt comfortable with Kat when they were doing activities or traveling because there's something to talk about, there's something to do. But when you're just sitting with a person and conversing with who that person is, I don't think he was feeling Kat. That's my 2 cents. That's the vibe I'm getting right now, is that Kat wants more and he's like, I just want to, it's like when you go on a first date and you want an activity so that in case you don't like the person, you kind of have something to talk about, you have some sort of thing. And I feel like that's what Alex and Kat are doing with all their traveling and adventures and stuff like that. Next up, we have Antonio and Roxanne. Antonio is 30 and Roxanne is 31, and they've been together for 4 years. Antonio gave Roxanne the ultimatum. She looks a lot older than 31 in my opinion. I don't mean to be mean, but she carries herself and she just looks a little older than I would expect. She doesn't believe in marriage. She is completely career goal oriented and like fuck everything else. She wants Antonio to do more romantic things on her schedule. She wants him to be more ambitious than he is. And he says that if she says no to his proposal, then he's gone. I forgot to mention that Kat is the one who gave Alex the ultimatum, unsurprisingly. Next up is Ryan and James. They've been together for 7 years. They're high school sweethearts. She's only dated him. I'm a little unclear about him, if he's dated other people. He seems to have been a little bit more experienced than her. But high school sweethearts. Ryan is the one who gave the ultimatum to James. She said that we're done with school, so it's time to, move on with everything. She said it shouldn't be a question of whether he wants to marry her since they've been together for so long. He doesn't believe in one soulmate for a person, and he wants to be more financially secure before he starts a marriage. Trey and Raya. Trey is 28, Raya is 24, and they've been together for 2 years. And Trey has given Raya the ultimatum. He says that he has everything sorted, he's ready for marriage, he has the job, the money, he's secure, he's ready. But she says that it's all about him, and she wants a little bit more support in what she wants, her career, her drive, her ambition, and stuff like that. She's also unsure of if she wants kids later, and he is very, very much, he wants kids. So that's another sticking point in this relationship. In their final night together, Raya and Trey Raya says that she's still trying to figure things out, and it's all about him. And he says, well, why can't we figure this stuff out while we're married? And she's like, well, it's not all perfect. We already live together, and she wants to take care of herself a little bit more. And I feel like she feels like he wants to be the man and provide, but she also wants to, hold her own and be a little bit more equal in the relationship than just depend on him. She then asks him, well, what if she decides that she doesn't want to have kids? And he's stumped. That's something to think about. And the last couple is Lisa and Brian. Lisa, 31, and Brian, 28. They've been together for 2 years, and Lisa gave Brian the ultimatum. They talk about how their families like each other. She's confident in their relationship. She also wants kids right away, and he feels forced, and he wants to be able to provide money and take care of the family and support it, and he just is a little just unsure. Later, when they're saying their goodbyes, Lisa's talking about how she wants the marriage with him because, you know, the next step is she's ready to buy a house, and she doesn't want to buy a house with somebody she's not married to, and she also wants kids. And she says, do you not want to get married, or do you not want to marry me? And that is a very poignant question that Brian needs to figure out. She just seems to be more into it than he is, and he's reserved for some reason. He's unsure about it. In the night, there's some footage of her like crying, saying she wants to go home, and he's like trying to comfort her, and it's like, no, it's okay, we're gonna get through this, it's fine. And then the next thing we see is them the next morning, and they're fine. So I don't know what that was. They do talk about her getting upset in the experience, not specifically the night before, but just in the experience. She says that she can handle it. Now all of the couples are exes officially. So now they get to date each other, and it's like a speed date round kind of by the pool. And so Raya and Brian are kind of hitting it off, and Lisa's not liking this. She's like, daggers across the pool. Raya and James are also hitting it off because they have similar backgrounds with single moms. Lisa and Trey are both ready in their life. They both feel secure and ready to get married and have the kids, have the house, etc. Alex and Roxanne. Alex is into software, and she is in IT. She's an entrepreneur, and they both really enjoy the entrepreneur lifestyle, like the hustle, the ambition, the go. And so they really hit it off in that sense. Later, everybody gets to go to a bar party and mix and mingle with everybody, and it's a little weird since they're all kind of drinking and seeing each other flirt and date other people. Lisa asks the group right away in a kind of a pushy manner, like, oh, who was your best date, you know, from the pool dates? And everybody's like, it's too soon, we don't want to answer this. And she's like, oh, well, mine was so-and-so. I forget who she says. I think it was Trey. She said, mine was Trey. And it's like, okay, good for you. And I think maybe one other person answered, but everybody was like, nah, we're not going there yet. Okay. Brian pulls Lisa aside to see if she's okay, how she's doing, because she seems a little buzzed. Not gonna lie, she seems a little buzzed, a little like, a little messy, and a little angry right now. So he says, how are you doing, baby? She says, I'm not your baby, I'm your ex. And it's like, okay, this is gonna start off well. And she said, it shouldn't be this hard to fix us. And he's just like, it's gonna be fine, are you okay? She starts crying. He tries to comfort her, and she doesn't trust him with somebody else. I don't know if there's been cheating in the past or like a previous relationship she got cheated on. That's not specified, but she does not trust him. Alex and Roxanne are hitting it off. They're continuing to talk about entrepreneur and work, and he says that he'll plan dates around her schedule, and she's very happy with that. Brian pulls Raya to have a little chat. They're hitting it off. They're vibing, but Lisa is not having it. So she goes up there and she's like, oh, what are y'all talking about? You like him? And Raya's like, I don't want to be here. Lisa's like, Raya, how about you go talk to Trey, your ex? Like, get the fuck out. And Raya's like, I don't want to talk to Trey, but I'm going to leave because this is awkward and I don't want to be here. So Raya leaves, and Lisa is talking to Brian. She is very mad at the situation and saying that Brian is talking to Raya and flirting with her, and he's mad that she came over and interrupted because it's like, why don't you trust me? We're just talking. It's not a big deal. But she's like, fine, go fuck her. I don't care. And so she gets mad and walks away. Then as Brian is coming, like following after her, she turns and comes back to him and then like push slaps his face in front of everyone and is like, fine, go fuck her. Go fuck your Hooters bitch, because we find out Raya works at Hooters. But she just like face palms his, like it was like, holy shit, that is fucking awful. How he didn't explode, kudos to Brian. I would have like been like, oh, don't you goddamn touch me like that. Whew, he did. And everybody sees it too. So everybody's like, whoo, no, that is not something we want to be part of. I feel bad for Brian. He needs to get out of there. And that is the end of episode 1. Episode 2. So we're still at the bar. They replay the fight that just happened. They replay the smack. And now Lisa's outside. And Brian is following after her, being like, what's going on? Why are you so mad? You brought me here. We're trying to do this experience. And she's like, oh, go with your Hooters, bitch. She won't even challenge you. I would get it if it was somebody smarter, but she's stupid and she won't challenge you. Lisa's just mad that Raya could be perceived as hotter than her. I think it's a look situation, not a brain situation. And so that's why she's putting it that way, because she doesn't know shit about how smart or not smart Raya is. So she's just saying, oh, she's attractive, so therefore she's dumb. Unfair. And Brian's trying to make sense of it, and he's like, what are you mad about specifically? I was just talking to her. Like, I don't understand. And you're doing the most, which she was doing the absolute most. And then she leaves, and she's like, fuck you. Fuck you, give me the key to the house. And she's crying, and she leaves. Okay, we got our villain of this season. Brian goes back into the group. They say it's not his fault. They check in on him, and he's like, yeah, I'm okay. So he sits back down, and he tries to have a conversation. And then after like 5 minutes or so, he's like, I can't. And he just kind of goes outside because he needs some air. Raya cries to Trey, her ex, and she's like, are you okay? He's like, yeah, I'm fine. Are you okay? And she's like, I don't know. That was awkward. And so she gets a hug from Trey because that stuff with Lisa was a bit much. Alex and Roxanne are still hitting it off, talking about ambition and career. That's pretty much all they talk about. She doesn't want to be slowed down by anybody, by her partner. So she wants, that support, that motivation. And her eyebrows remind me of Carmen from Love Island UK with the brushed up. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I actually have a thing about eyebrows. I need them to be brushed. And if people do, I don't like it. I don't like it if they brush them the wrong way. It gives me the heebie-jeebies. And that's just a little thing about me. Kat and Antonio are hitting it off. He's nervous and jealous that Roxanne's gonna like Alex more because he has everything that Antonio doesn't have in terms of motivation and success and stuff like that. So he's stressed about money. Kat says that she shuts down difficult, in-depth conversations. So that's something that she's worried that Alex might have better with Roxanne. And again, this kind of goes back to my thing with Alex and Kat whenever, like, I feel like they don't talk. So that's why they fill up their lives with travel and activities. And she just says she runs from conversations, so that makes sense. James and Raya are hitting it off, talking about their background with their parents. And Raya sort of dips her toes into like, oh, so would you want to, live with me, be my trial husband? And it seems like a potential match. But then Brian and Raya have a conversation, and he talks about how good of a listener she is, how good at communication, and they talk about trust and money issues between, the two couples. Raya says she's too scared. She may be too scared to have children after she was pregnant and had no heartbeat. So pregnancy and the topic of kids is a little triggering for her, and she says she may not want kids ever. And she also says that something is missing with her and Trey, but she doesn't quite know what, but that's kind of why she's not ready to get married. Trey takes Lisa on a date. I don't know why. I don't know why Lisa is still here. Watch out, Trey. She puts the blame on Brian and like, oh, he triggered me. And she says, no, I'm just passionate. No. You need therapy to deal with your anger management issues and possibly jealousy, which stems from the anger, and self-confidence issues. It is not his fault. It is not him to be triggering you. They both enjoy the date and they hug to end it off. Trey has a date with Ryan, and he's really into her. He thinks she's pretty, and she's kind of stoic. She doesn't seem to get emotional very much. She seems to be giggly and laughy and just kind of like chill. She has a very chill vibe, and she likes him as well. She compliments him how he dresses, and he says, "Oh, you're somebody who would, I'd look at, and she's like, "Well, I would look at you too." So it was very nice and very complimentary, but back and forth. Next, Nick Lachey welcomes everybody to the table for the choice. But there's a twist. Sort of. Not really a twist, but a surprise. That 2 empty seats are at the end of the table because Lisa and Brian are out of here. Apparently, Lisa took a pregnancy test that morning, came out positive, and now she and Brian are going to be having a baby. The worst couple, in my opinion, are having a baby. Episode 3! We see the scene of Lisa telling Brian that she's pregnant. So Brian comes in and she's like, "Hey, baby." And he's like, "What's going on?" And she's like, "I took a pregnancy test and it's positive." And he's like, "Are you sure?" And she's like, "Yeah." He's like, "It's mine." And she's like, "Yeah." And then eventually she's like, "Are you cool then? I'm happy." And he's like, "Yeah, okay, I'm happy too. But this doesn't change anything. Things are going to get more complicated." And she doesn't want to get married just because there's a baby on the way. She still wants him to want to get married. I wish all of them luck. Good luck and good riddance. Because she was too much. I don't know that. I don't know that I could have handled the entire season with her in it. Because I feel like it would have been drama. But maybe it would have been, no. It would have been like psychodrama. So now we actually get the choice. And it's just Nick at the choice. I don't know where Vanessa is. But they talk about how hard the party was for Lisa and Brian. And Nick's like, "What happened?" And so they told him. And he's like, "Oh, okay." So then they talk to Trey and Ryan and how much they have shared values, how comfortable they are together, how open they are together. Trey picks Ryan as his trial marriage. And Ryan also picks Trey. Raya says she has a lot of walls up, but she found it very easy to connect with James. And she's very comforted with him. So she officially picks James for her trial marriage. And James says that he felt heard with her, and he also picks Raya. Kat is feeling Antonio. She's saying he really listens to your side. Antonio says it's nice to feel recognized. Roxanne does a little quip of like, "Oh, stroking these guys' egos." And it's like, shut up. Shut up. So Kat and Antonio pick each other for the trial marriages. Kat says that he's going to push her in a good direction, and he could be open because she's good at communication. Roxanne, again, is not happy because they talk about how extroverted Antonio is around Kat and around the other guys. And Roxanne's like, "I just get an introverted Antonio, so I don't understand what this is. Maybe he's better off without me." Probably. Roxanne and Alex pick each other because they love to talk about work. And he says that she's very witty and smart. And he says Roxanne is the opposite of Kat, which is a little rude because he says witty and smart. And it's like, wait, are you saying I'm stupid if you're saying I'm the opposite of witty and smart? And he says that maybe Roxanne and Alex can match in the career love department. So that is the choice. And James calls out Trey and is like, "Hey, Trey, we're essentially swapping partners. So I want you to know there's no ill will between us. And at the end of this, I hope everybody grows from this experience." And Trey's like, "I agree." So the guys are cool. It is time for the trial marriages to begin. So everybody goes to their new house in the new couple. Roxanne and Alex, they are excited to work from home and have lunch dates in between. They talk about the bed and how like big or how small it is. Roxanne says that she's tired of pushing Antonio to want better, that it's time for him to push himself. And then it comes around to Roxanne asks Alex if he's done anal. He has. She has not. Good to know. Antonio and Kat come to their house and pop champagne, and they talk about how they're opposites from their exes. He's stressed, but it was his choice to come here, but he's worried that she's gonna find everything he's lacking in Alex. And Antonio sleeps on the air mattress because if Roxanne slept in a bed with somebody else. He wouldn't like it, so he's trying to be respectful and do the same as he would expect. Trey and Ryan, they are hanging out at home. He's nervous about the situation. He also says that she's pretty. And there's the first dog of the season, and it is Blanche. And we love Blanche. Raya and James are happy with their decision. They're talking about self-reflection, but he's a little on edge because when Trey was complimenting his ex, Ryan, he was like, yeah, she is all those good things. Oh no, I don't want to lose all those good things. You should have thought on that before you went on the show. So he takes a run, or he goes outside and talks to his friend on the phone, and he's like just kind of talking things out and how stressful and hard the situation is. And here we are at episode 4. Kat and Antonio, they have a picnic where there's like horses and stables and there's a chicken, and he's talking about how he's lacking in the success, work, job, money department, and how he can't afford to have fun because he just can't afford it. And so those things that Roxanne wants for him to show love, like plan concerts, plan dates, and stuff like that, he can't afford to. So that's kind of where their disconnect is. He also says that he used to be an addict, a couple different things, and he is very much ready to grow and move forward and have a more successful, fruitful life. Kat really doesn't say a whole lot, just yeah, a lot. Alex and Roxanne are at their house talking about work and meetings. There's a cat! And apparently the cat bit Alex. I mean, the cat knows. There's mine. Roxanne and Alex also talk about marriage, and it seems like he's really on board for marriage, although he was the one who wasn't in the beginning. I think he just didn't want to marry Kat, to be frank. So I think Alex just didn't want to marry Kat, but he's now really, really for marriage. Like, I want marriage. I want the kids. I want a teammate in success, in career and life. And so Roxanne is now sort of, maybe you got a point. Maybe you got a point. You could be successful and married. They also talked to Alex's family, and I didn't really care. James and Raya, they open the episode answering, those like questions like, oh, if you had a favorite position, or what are your red flags, like stuff like that. Relationship questions. And they talk, there's a lot of sex questions, and then James gets to talking about foreplay and how it can start from the morning and like leaving notes, and it all builds up to something. And I'm just like, is James getting hot? And he says it's his job to take care of his partner in that sense, to give them pleasure. And I'm just like, okay, James. Okay. I see you. And Raya's like, oh, I think I've been missing out on this foreplay. I kind of like them together. I'm not going to lie. I don't know. Then they have a spa date, and he's talking about how pretty she is in his confessional, not to her. And they're vibing, and they're having a really good time. And he talks about wanting kids. I don't know if she's on board yet. That's a touchy subject. Later that night, Raya is trying to get a little bit more affection out of James, like, hey, why don't you hold my hand? Why don't you give me a hug? Because it doesn't really feel like a marriage unless there's some sort of physical intimacy. It doesn't have to be all the way, because he's like, I'm not fucking. And she's like, we don't have to. That's not what I'm suggesting. Just any kind of little touch, affection, like for my boyfriend, I will hug him when he's doing the dishes. I'll touch his shoulder. You do the little touches to let your person know that you're kind of there, that you're present with them in a physical sense. And that's all she's really asking for. And he's taking it way to the extreme, like, I'm not having sex. What do you want from me? And it comes out here that he has cheated on, who's he with? Ryan in the past. And so I think maybe maybe he's like, oh, well, if I hold your hand, then it's going to lead to more, and I'm scared of that. Or he's scared of her and he doesn't like her. I don't know what his issue is, to be honest. He's very rigid and very like, mm. Although he does think she's pretty. He said that. So she gets very upset, and he's very upset because she's like, I just want to like be somewhat affectionate. He's like, no, only time and place. And she's like, we're at home. How about then? And he said, and she's like, you know what? I'm tired of this. I'm going to go to bed, and we'll try again tomorrow, and it will be the same thing. And she leaves James sitting there on the couch contemplating life. Give the woman a fucking hug. Last couple of the episode, we're going to talk about Ryan and Trey. They are having a fast week. It's going by quickly, but they're having a good time. They have an ice cream and wine date, and this is my kind of date. I'm just like, yes. And they share each other's ice cream, and it's cute. And they're talking about how easy it is with each other. She's never lived with anyone before, and she's focused more on her happiness and finding out what that entails than focusing on marriage as an end result. And I think these two are hitting it off, and it seems like they're kind of smitten. And she reminds me of Chloe from The Circle, Too Hot to Handle, Perfect Match. She reminds me of a mix between Chloe and Alicia Silverstone. It's a weird thing, but that's my 2 cents on Ryan. Later at home, Trey and Ryan's saying that she's too nice, and he says, no, there's a beauty in being so nice, and he's trying to make her feel good. He took her car to go fix it or something like that, so he's trying to make an effort to make her feel as good as she makes everybody else feel. The episode ends with Ryan and Trey on a boat date, and they're like having a little picnic on a boat, and it's super cute. And they're talking about kids, they're talking about family values and how you would raise their kids if they had them. Then Trey says that he is starting to get feelings, like real feelings for Ryan. He says he feels valued with her, and she definitely made a huge impact on his life. And so he's catching feelings. She says, thank you for opening up and feeling vulnerable with me and telling me all these things. And I like them together. I guess Raya and James imploded, so I guess now I'm just rooting for Ryan and Trey because I liked both of them together, but I guess the other two aren't so good. And that is where the episode ends. What did you guys think of these 4 episodes of The Ultimatum? Do you think any of these couples, what do you think of these couples? What do you think of the new couples, the old couples, the drama, the pregnancy? Oh my God. Leave a comment down below. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time.